I wish everyone a happy story. After 3 years of marriage with Feng Yan, the system that should have disappeared long ago suddenly appeared. Sorry host, I just discovered that you are not the female lead. I was rushing to get ready for school, concealer still covering the red marks on my body. Hearing that, I jumped up from my chair. Are you serious? He bowed his head, his voice full of regret. Yes, I did something wrong. I got the wrong person. She was just a beautiful side character in the story. Feng Dian had just met the real female lead. I lay down on the ground and kowtowed 10 times in a row sincerely. The system burst into tears. It's over, the host is going to pass out from the shockwave. I pulled it back, ran straight to the closet, and pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared in advance. Oh my God. I was already surprised. My family has been in the business of burning votive paper for our ancestors down there for generations. How could I marry the most noble prince in the capital? That day I was like a sleepwalker, my mind was blank. He looked so loving. His eyes were as deep as the sea, endlessly gentle. It was only recently that I discovered that he was actually not human. He's raising prey. In my second year of college, the system said I was the female lead. I replied, well, I'm the emperor. She pointed to the actor who was invited to the school to teach finance that day. That was the male lead, she should consider it. He was a handsome, well-educated man with an extraordinary demeanor. The boys and girls in the school surrounded me, taking turns taking pictures with their phones. The whole lecture hall was packed. I swallowed and replied softly, well then I'll accept it. But my heart is already blooming. My ancestors have blessed me. It's true that heaven has given me a good relationship. At that time I thought, with the female lead's halo protecting me, conquering the acting world would be as easy as eating candy, so smooth that I even doubted it. Was this a love scam? But he treated me extremely well. His feelings were not fake at all. We got married smoothly. He has almost no flaws except for being a bit cold and jealous. He is physically fit and very indulgent to me. I thought this was love. It wasn't until a year ago that I realized I was his prey. He had me blinded. Oh my gosh, last New Year's Eve he was busy, so I went home alone to celebrate Tet. My parents saw that my return was disturbing their world of two, so they sent me back to the acting studio. Before leaving, my mother stuffed a bunch of delicious food into my hands. Give the little actor a lot to eat, there's a lot at home. I stood at the door with my hands on my hips. What about you, Mom? Where are you? Dad interrupted. Come on, you always let the little girl eat first, now you've gotten fat, this time give her some space. I pursed my lips and dragged my suitcase home with a resentful mood. That night, when I left the airport, the moon was still waning. But when I entered the villa, the sky was partially full. The air was strangely quiet. Something was strange. A woman's voice could still be heard from inside the villa. I quietly went around to the back of the house. Feng Dian was standing under the flower bed, talking to a woman whose back I could only see. Their first sentence shocked me into silence. The woman smiled lightly. Every time he sucked a little bit like that, he tried to learn from the bee to get honey. Feng replied. If he sucked too much, she would get suspicious. After listening, my wrist suddenly hurt. I raised my hand and under the moonlight 2 small red marks stood out on my wrist, making me twitch. My neck also had the same naughty intention. I remembered the times at night, when he was at his hottest, he liked to bite the weak spots on my body. I used to think it was just a small habit, a kind of intimacy between husband and wife. The woman chuckled. I like to suck the prey's cheeks dry and swallow them in one gulp. It's boring to rely on her alone. Next time I'll bring a few more people for you. Let's change the taste. I hid in the dark, my face stiff. I caught a glimpse of her long hair. Moving. I looked closely and saw a snake. She pulled out a leather stick and played with it like a toy. Oh, remember to receive the fast delivery. She placed her hand on his chest, her fingers soft as a water snake, suddenly grabbing his hem. I kept my form carefully so that no one would notice. I stood still as a statue, clenching my fists so hard that my nails dug into my skin, tears welling up in my eyes. The news was pounding so hard that it felt like it was going to explode, because I saw clearly that woman, transformed into a giant white snake, slippery in the night. I took off my shoes, retreated with a crunch, and immediately ran to the hotel to calm down. Before, the system had said that the mission was completed, The male and female leads would never be separated. I thought it was figurative. I didn't expect it to be real, literally inseparable. It's a physical union. Fong had no idea that I had discovered him. He continued to act like a caring, affectionate husband. Thinking that I had lost my appetite, he changed all the ways he cooked to get me to eat more. Oh my God, these monsters treat their prey more carefully than humans. I gritted my teeth and refused everything, saying I was on a diet. As a result, he looked at me affectionately and said softly, "Wife, you are the most beautiful in my heart no matter what." Every time like that, I noticed that his pupils were deeper and wider than normal people, and every time he looked at me, his eyes were full of desire. I had to secretly wipe away my tears. The demon was truly an excellent actor, much better than normal men. Anyway, because they want to eat their prey, they are willing to put in effort to please them. Unlike most men who are sweet talkers but run faster when they have something to say. Fong's acting is different. He acts for a long time. Kiss me, hug me, take good care of me. But that reminds me of a cat playing with a mouse. A cat never eats a mouse right away. It has to play until it's satisfied. Fong was the same. When he saw that I was deliberately avoiding him, he even gave me some medicine. I guess that maybe it was because he hadn't smoked for a long time, so his body started to show animal traces. Twice I tried to stay awake. Under the dim light I saw the snake scales on his arm. I got goosebumps. Under the effect of the drug, my heart was pounding, my cheeks were hot. My body was moving uncontrollably. And then I fell into a state of extreme pleasure. Every time he bit me, I no longer felt pain, but instead sank deeper into an indescribable feeling of ecstasy. In the pouring rain, I could still hear him whispering in my ear, his voice as sweet as sugar. "Honey, you're so sweet. Honey, I want to eat you up. Oh my God, I'm going to faint." Honestly, I didn't want to continue with Fong, but it was as if he had a GPS attached to me. Wherever I went, he could find me, without any worries that I would run away. The system said nothing. That's the fun between the male and female leads. Fun on your head. I'm a mouse in a cat's mouth. It's strange that I'm not afraid. A year later, the system appeared again, saying that I was not the female lead. I knew it. Kneeling down and praying to the Western gods every day had finally had some effect. The only thing that was wrong was that I was carrying a creature of an unknown species in my belly. Luckily, my family has a Taoist priest who can shake me off. Before leaving, I pulled my suitcase and asked the system. The male and female leads have officially entered the storyline. Will Fong really gradually forget about me? Are you sure? Absolutely, I guarantee it. I breathed a sigh of relief. After this ordeal, I will go to Linen Pagoda to pay my respects. I will go to build the mountainous area in the west of the fatherland. I will go to Africa to dig wells. Luckily, Fong Dian is in England negotiating a business deal and cannot return for the time being. I immediately packed all the necessary things and booked a flight to Iceland. Snakes are afraid of the cold. Fong is even more afraid. I hope he knows it's hard and backs off. Just as I was cheering that I'm free, Fong called. Why is there a divorce petition? Do you like someone else? Who is it? What will you do with him? Fong's voice became lower and lower. I always thought he had separation anxiety disorder, and that when he didn't see me he would start to feel better. Now I know it's predatory anxiety disorder, and when he doesn't have prey in sight he's mentally unstable. He realized he had misspoken. Baby, I'm sorry, I'm too emotional, can we talk properly? What I find strange is that I only sent the divorce papers to my lawyer. How did Fong Dian know? I texted both of them to ask. A while later, Lawyer Tran texted back. Madam, I'm sorry, but I'm actually general manager Fong's man. He paid too much. I couldn't help but curse under my breath. I decided to reject Fong's acting so cruelly, making up a random reason. He was like a mad buffalo without any technique. I couldn't stand his straightforward way of going at it anymore. Life is short, I want to live the rest of it happily. He was upset. He had been very gentle. You're still studying engineering, I thought you liked it. I blushed and said no. I didn't want to listen, so we went our separate ways. I wish you find your true love soon. Leave a little person like me alone. Without waiting for him to explain, I hung up. As I walked past the living room, the TV started playing the Animal World program, which was extremely inappropriate. I remember the only time I saw Fong's solid form. It wasn't exactly a full transformation. That night, I went home to get something urgent. He heard me coming back and locked the bedroom door. I quickly caught his action of closing the door and hooked his tail. A long shiny black tail. I was scared out of my wits. I don't know why I'm so afraid of snakes. Since I was a child, my fear of snakes has far exceeded the normal human genetic level. The system said that Fong was currently meeting the female lead in England, and their relationship would blossom. I turned off the TV and patted my face to wake up. Freedom, freedom, here I come. Just as I entered the bedroom to get my passport, I suddenly heard a noise behind me. Fong, who was supposed to be in his country, appeared in my bedroom. Oh my God, I didn't even know he had the ability to teleport. I turned back and met his eyes. Those eyes had that strange color that only appeared when he was angry or sexually active. Will you be gentle from now on? I burst into tears and said unconsciously. I have been afraid of snakes since I was little. Before he could pull away, a small green snake poked its head out from his shoulder. Its round, bright eyes stared at me. Hearing me say I was afraid of snakes, it seemed to understand, immediately left Fong's role, and retreated to the living room. Seeing its smooth, wriggling legs, I let out a sharp scream. Fong quickly closed the door, hugging me as usual to shake off the fear. But he was clearly the biggest threat. I broke away, backing up to the window, my voice cold. Everyone get out. The green snake even poked its head out from the door tray, holding a few stalks of catnip in its mouth, chewing it noisily. It looked silly, obviously not having a high IQ. Hearing the noise in the room, it looked at me innocently. My tears fell like a broken string of pearls. It was terrifying enough. Now that I understood human language, it was even more terrifying. Fong Dian awkwardly turned around, looked at the little snake, and signaled it to retreat. He didn't know that what I was really afraid of was him. He walked over, intending to hug me. I immediately climbed into bed and ran to the other side. Fong thought I was angry about the snake entering the room, so he explained indignantly. It crawled in there on its own because there was catnip in the house. He didn't know why it liked to eat that. He stumbled, carried me horizontally onto the bed. Then he knelt beside me, looking up at me. I noticed that his eyes reflected the light, a golden glow like the burning universe. Just like the eyes of snakes I had seen in the animal world. His gaze softened, and his hand reached up to stroke my cheek. In my mind I saw black scales, and I used all my strength to hit the back of his hand. His lips trembled slightly, but he still smiled obediently. If you don't like it, I'll chase it away right away. I shivered back on the bed. His eyes were fierce, his voice cold. It wasn't that I didn't like it, it was that I extremely to the bone hated snakes. When I was little, my teacher took us to see a movie about the animal world. A snake swallowed a mouse alive. Its stomach moved into the room. I immediately froze, then had nightmares for a month. Every time I remembered it, I wanted to vomit. After listening, Fong acted like a person. His eyelashes trembled slightly. His eyes fell on my ankle, his face showing obvious loneliness. Last night I sprained my ankle, it was still swollen. Seeing him approaching, I immediately became alert. Don't touch me. Okay. He was a little confused, stood up and said he was going to deal with the snake. Seeing him leave the room, I took a breath, intending to pick up the phone to call the Taoist uncle. Suddenly I remembered that the phone and luggage were in the living room. A bad feeling came to my mind. A male colleague who was going abroad with me had made an appointment to pick me up at this time. They were colleagues in the same office and had a close relationship. Fong is very jealous. No, not jealous anymore. It's like protecting my territory. If anyone dares to steal my prey, I'll bite them to death. I was about to get out of bed when Fong's face darkened and a cold air rushed in. I used to love him so much. When I was pursuing him, I even wrote a guidebook on how to win his heart. When he was angry, he never showed it. On the contrary, his face remained calm, his eyes smiling, his teeth clenched, his cheeks puffed out. That was when he was truly angry. And then he would punish me day and night. Mark me in the craziest way. Want to hear? He shook the phone. I was stunned listening. What? He smiled faintly, turned on the speaker. Miss Tu, I'm on my way to you. It was Professor Zhang Bai from the same institute. Feng Yan walked over and sat down next to me. The other end of the line continued. Really divorced? I was surprised. I thought you and your husband were very happy. I was about to speak up. Fong pointed at his lips, then stared at mine. Damn it. As a prey, I understood the hunter's gaze all too well. What he meant was if I dared to say it, he would kiss me. I looked at him, not daring to move. Zhang Qibai said with a hint of regret. I'm this good, I should be loved by someone better. I said softly. It's nothing, just colleagues caring for each other. Fong replied softly. Ha, a monster that understands the human culture of rebirth. People are clearly just normal. I said. Thank you, Professor Zhang, for your concern. I'm fine. I'm a very open-minded person when it comes to love. I haven't finished speaking yet, the other side said. So can I pursue you? Fong raised his eyebrows. I just said you are excellent. I can't help but be attracted to you. But don't feel pressured. I just want you to know that there is someone in this world who has always secretly loved you. I froze. Zhang Qibai let out a sigh of relief. She and her husband were very happy before. I don't think I'll ever have the chance to say this. Luckily. Fong looked at me, his face unchanged. The antique vase on the bookshelf exploded. I know it's you. But your face is innocent. Too old, just bragging. Then turned to the phone and said to Zhang Qibai. We are still as happy as ever. Hearing the sound of breaking, Professor Zhang seemed worried. I just lulled him to sleep. I came to find him. Fong smiled as expected. Lit looked at me, the corners of his lips raised. Okay, I grabbed the phone. Professor Zhang, I'm not divorced, just had a little argument. Don't come over anymore, it's bothering you. Then I hung up. I knew Fong's personality very well. Zhang Kaibok almost lost his life because of him. At the beginning of this year, because of a job transfer, Zhang Qibai and I moved to a new office, and our seats were close to each other. I always regarded him as my senior. He was a gentleman and knew how to take care of women. One time he took me home on the way. That day when Fong hugged me, he smelled a man's perfume. I didn't hide anything and told him everything. As a result, Zhang Qibai suddenly asked for 2 weeks off. It was only after he returned to work that I found out. He said he was bitten by a black snake and was in the ICU for a week. At that time, I didn't suspect Fong of acting at all, because in front of me, he always acted obedient. Until one day, I saw with my own eyes his true form, the black snake tail. Plus, Zhang Kaibok said his house was on the 51st floor. In the middle of the cold winter, a black snake came out of nowhere and bit him on the 51st floor very precisely. There was no doubt that it was Fong who did it. He was best at pretending to be obedient. When he heard me tell Zhang Qibai that Fong and I were not divorced, his face softened, and he hugged me, sniffing for a long time. Now I understood that he was actually sniffing to see if there was another man's scent on me. Like a dog sniffing from head to toe, when he was sure it was only his scent, he held it to the hollow of my neck, smiling smugly. It was only his scent. I froze, thinking to myself, animal nature has not changed. The love of marking territory is something that cannot be abandoned. I pushed him away, pretending to ask the crab gang. Aren't you at home? Why did you come back so quickly? He paused, making up a random excuse. There was an urgent meeting in the country, so he came back early. Oh, but I saw that his IP address was still with him this morning. He was a bit flustered, trying to appear calm. His eyes looked away, not daring to look at me. It must be because the phone was updating slowly. He approached me again. I won't fire you. What an innocent expression. This monster understands the rules of human society very well. But he really can't learn how to lie. The way he looked at me was so full of confusion. It was as if I was lying written all over my face. I snatched the phone from his hand and walked quickly out of the bedroom. It was too dangerous to be alone with him. He doesn't eat me now, he just wants to keep me as a living ghost. As soon as I got to the door, I received a message from Kwa. Eating too many egg yolks can also cause a false pregnancy test result. You'd better come here and check again. If you two really want a divorce, you should think carefully about the child. I replied. Okay. Fong followed me. I turned around and said coldly, it's not bedtime yet, don't come near me. He's just sleeping anyway, smoking. What if he gets too excited and bites me? He showed a pitiful expression, slightly confused. It's because I love you, that's why I'm with you. Stop. He immediately obediently fell silent. I can't even trust the words of a normal person, let alone a monster that sees me as food. After all, my nature can't be hidden forever. I've seriously explained it to Fong Dian many times. So I need some quiet, don't bother me. He used to pamper me a lot. He still does, thinking I don't know anything about his true identity. I said I wanted to go to the place. He didn't dare follow me, but he went into the study and searched for a long time, finally took out a bracelet with a strange smell and put it on me. He bit his lower lip and calmly said, "Otherwise I'll go with you." I had to hold out my hand. After putting it on, I realized that the bracelet couldn't be taken off. Definitely a stalker. I picked up my bag and headed straight for the door. Fong followed, standing there dumbfounded, staring at me. He was waiting a goodbye kiss. 2 years ago, every time one of us left the house, we had to kiss each other goodbye. But ever since I found out his identity, I always tried to leave as quickly as possible. When he went on a business trip, I didn't see him off anymore. At first, he was a little angry, but I ignored him and didn't say anything more. It was just that every time he saw me off, he looked at me pitifully. "Close the door," I said coldly. After saying that, I turned around and went downstairs, not bothering to look at his face. Today was a nice day, without the bitter cold of late autumn. I went to the hospital where Kwa worked, got checked out, and then sat in her office waiting. "What are you going to do with this pregnancy? What about Fong? Why did you two suddenly ask for a divorce? You've been inseparable for the past 2 years. She threw 2 questions in a row. I smiled faintly. I was going to find a priest to see if this pregnancy could be saved. Since when did you start believing in such things? The nurse came in and gave her the test results. I sat aside waiting. She frowned as she watched. "What's wrong?" She raised her head. "You have to check again." I was skeptical, but I did it anyway. This time her eyebrows furrowed even more. Even called the nurse in and checked the machines. "Did you feel anything unusual?" she asked. I shook my head. "I just found out I was pregnant a few days ago, and I feel like I'm still normal." She bit her lip, as if she was thinking about something. Body mass index added up. If it was a normal person, it would be impossible to survive. She continued. "How strange. Not counting the abnormal index, just these 2 results alone. More than an hour apart, one showed pregnancy, the other did not." She held up the 2 results to compare, looking at me seriously. "Just don't tell me it's true. A year ago, I told you that Fong Dian wasn't human. But because he disguised himself so well, I never had any evidence to prove it." Under her worried gaze, I nodded. "I wasn't joking. You saw the test results today. Because of him, my body is also gradually becoming strange." She stood up, her face full of worry. But not to the point of panic. Her family is in the media after all. She's seen enough weird things growing up. "What should I do now? I have no experience dealing with non-humans." I gave her a reassuring look. I had someone who could help. Before I left, she asked me to do 2 more tests. Both tests were positive. Not pregnant. Or you ate something you shouldn't have. Or maybe monsters have a different way of reproducing. I suddenly remembered when I raised hamsters. One time it stopped eating. I was so worried that I brought it to the vet. Fong Dian only sniffed it once and said, "She was pregnant, so she ate poorly." Maybe it was true. If I was really pregnant, Fong Dian should have smelled it. I'll go ahead and make some phone calls downstairs. I'll call you 3 relatives who are living a vagabond life. My family has been making votive paper for generations, but every few generations there will be someone who becomes a shaman or a Taoist priest. I originally intended to look for my second uncle, but he suddenly said he was sick and introduced my 3rd cousin to Su Jing'an. After hearing what I had said, Su Jing'an sent me a photo without any doubt. "Chidu, take a look at this family tree. The genealogy records that the mothers of some of our clansmen can help demons increase their cultivation. Therefore, the demons will secretly nurture those with those mothers to serve their cultivation." The 3rd young master sent another message. "Chidu, don't leave yet. He has left his mark on you. Even if you hide in the ends of the earth, he will find you. Our ancestors once had a female clansman who was imprisoned by a monster. It is clearly recorded in the family tree. The monster in the deep mountains had a beautiful appearance and was good at captivating people's hearts. Despite our clan's strict teachings, there was still a girl who couldn't keep her heart and was captured in the mountains and raised for many years. When the clansmen found her, her cheeks had been sucked clean by the monster, leaving only a skeleton. Third uncle told me this kind of demon has no humanity. That girl's body was covered in bite marks, her face was ruined, and she couldn't rest in peace even after death. If many people in the clan hadn't risked their lives to retrieve her body, I'm afraid there wouldn't even be bones left. Third uncle kept warning me. Before I return, don't let that evil man suspect you. If possible, secretly observe his weak points, then report back to me. Wait until I return to the capital to consider the next steps. I wanted to ask for more details, but it seemed that third uncle didn't understand a creature like Fong Dian very well, and was even a little afraid. Every time Fong Dian was mentioned, he would emphasize that we absolutely should not run away, and should follow him. But facing this ambiguous situation, other than staying put, I had no other choice. I guessed that Tamtuk had his own plans. After making the call downstairs at the hospital, I drove home. The most important thing now was not to let Fong Dian find out. On the way back, I passed by Hung Thin Square. Outside the square, there was a row of giant screens. Recently, Fong Dian had several financial interviews broadcast. Every time I pass by, I see Tuan Tu's attractive face on the screen. On camera, he is a completely different person. Cold, decisive, and arrogant, people call him the ruthless knife of the business world. After finishing my master's degree, I continued my doctorate and taught at the university. Thanks to Fong Dian, I was always updated with the latest and most practical business situations. Although my lectures were dry and difficult to understand, I often invited famous experts to class to analyze each specific case for students. Fong Dian also often used his practical experience to help me turn the theory in the books into easy-to-understand practice. Thanks to that, my class was always full, and was voted the most valuable science in the Faculty of Management Economics. He not only gave me fish but also taught me how to catch fish. After we fell in love, he even took the initiative to let me try my hand at business. The resources he provided, such as profits, were up to me to decide whether to share or not. I refused. So, is it a bit too ready-made? I am very reasonable and thoughtful in persuading. I am your husband, what is wrong with investing in my wife? Even if it is not, with your talent, I am willing to be an angel investor and invest money because you are worthy. I told him I wanted to be an independent woman. He chuckled. Have you ever heard of an independent man? I shook my head. He continued. People with privilege often do not realize that they are privileged. Look at the men out there, who are given houses and cars by their parents, supported by their colleagues and mentored by their bosses. Does anyone say that they are not independent? And what about women? It is the same. If it is not wrong to put it on men, then it is not wrong to put it on women. After all, he knows very well what this society has given him, but those in power often do not see themselves as having power. Men are afraid that women will break away from traditional molds, afraid that they will enter the battlefield to win success, so they create a new heart called independent women. They took advantage of my inherent humility and righteousness to force me to withdraw from the resource competition. So there is nothing to feel guilty about. Having resources but not using them is stupid. I was enlightened. Even my parents, because of their mother's illness, only gave birth to me as a child. They always thought that only sons could be their support in old age. So when I was in high school, they started to neglect me, preparing to leave all their assets to my brother's son. After I got my acting degree, they immediately considered him their biological son. It was the acting that told them that it was because I was excellent enough that he deserved to be their son. Don't flatter me. If it weren't for Chizu, I and the two of you would have nothing to do with each other. I only accept living with those who know how to appreciate my wife. If she doesn't learn how to love her, I don't have time to teach her, let alone care. These principles of human relations were taught to me by a monster. Sure enough, creatures that have never lived in the stupid oppressive cage of human society will have a clearer mind. While waiting for the red light, and sent me some ancient paintings. The incident that year was so shocking that there are still paintings left. I enlarged the photo. The girl in the painting had rotten skin and her entire body was horribly emaciated. She was placed on the altar, limp as a piece of torn cloth. My wrists and throat had the same marks as mine, but they were obviously much more severe. The car behind honked, urging me to move on. I asked, tears streaming down my cheeks, because I saw in another picture the girl's hair was pulled up. That face was mine. I calmly continued my message. That year, that darling seemed to be a black snake. For some unknown reason, he lost control and bit the girl. Xiao Yu, in the family photo you are standing in the lower left corner, right? I replied. You're not seeing things, son. She looks exactly like the girl in the picture. He's typing now and it'll take a long time to send. That year, the entire tribe and the magician went up the mountain to capture him. But after sucking the girl's cheek, his cultivation increased greatly. He broke out of the siege and escaped into the deep forest. Perhaps the reincarnated person would carry his old abilities. Xiaodu, you must be very careful. I will return immediately. Yes, I will enter the Qua area and return to the villa. Under the porch light, a handsome, educated man with a coat in his hand stood there waiting for me. When he saw me, he smiled. He thought I would never come back. He helped me put on my coat. I walked into the house. Where could I run? He slowly dressed and then followed quietly. No one said anything. As usual, he brought me a glass of hot milk with medicine mixed in. I drank it all in one gulp as if I didn't notice. I have been half a month. If I don't suck your cheek, you will return to your original form like last time. The soft yellow light touched my hesitant heart. Fong Dian carried me and placed me on the soft forest. Then he bent down and lifted my leg. Lust and pain were mixed. I thought if I finally waited numb in his hands, it would probably be this kind of deep and sobering. I couldn't help but let out a private sound. Fong looked up and asked carefully, Honey, did I hurt you? I shook my head. He leaned down and kissed my fingers gently. A tingle ran down my spine. He would be gentle, very gentle. If you accidentally push too hard, I'll call your name, okay? I looked into his eyes, let out a soft sigh. Okay. In my mind, I saw the scene of the mare eating her mate after mating. There was a moment I thought of following suit. Because Fong acted as a predator but gave me love. I loved him, even thought of giving myself up. But he was also my life partner, who took me to see a wider world. Love is important, but being human is more important. Love is not enough to make me give up my still full life. I stayed up all night. I could even clearly feel Fong's fangs digging into my flesh. Then came some satisfying nonsense. Baby, you smell so sweet from head to toe. I want to bite you. I want to eat you so much. Hearing that sentence, I woke up like a lark. Looking up and down the house, goosebumps all over my body. Every time he did it was like he wanted to tear me apart and swallow me alive. Half awake and half asleep until morning. The next day I wore 2 big dark circles to go to work. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you suddenly feel uneasy and insist on following me to work. My school invited you to come talk. You haven't chosen a date yet, but today is fine. I'm waiting for you. It doesn't matter when you leave. At least let the students prepare. No way. He gritted his teeth and sat down on the sofa. I didn't expect Fong to actually follow me to school. I was at the climax of the lecture when I looked up and saw him sitting in the corner of the 4th row, wearing a baseball cap. I thought he was wearing the cap, so I didn't recognize him. I was teaching this class with Professor Zhang. Even though I had made it clear that I wasn't divorced, he seemed a bit overconfident, thinking that my husband and I had problems, so he had a chance to get in. Throughout the class, he kept teasing me in subtle ways. The students knew I wore a wedding ring, but I had never publicly revealed my identity as Fong, afraid that it would affect how others viewed my abilities. So the kids thought there was something between me and Mr. Zhang. The whole class was so noisy my head hurt. Fong's face was gloomy, as if I knew right away. He kept looking at me the whole time. After school, he and I went home together. He ran straight to the back seat, not bothering to talk. Fong Dian, it seemed like he was asleep, not moving at all. I had no choice but to take his phone and look up where to get the goods that Titinan sent. Just opened the browser. How does it feel to be a mistress when becoming the main wife? Does society allow being a mistress? If I am not human, have no morals, is it okay to be a mistress? Not being loved is being a mistress? My wife hasn't taken the initiative to kiss me for a whole year. What should I do? Not being loved, not wanting to live anymore. What then? Where is the loneliest place in the world? I quietly, very softly, put the phone back in its original place, pretending not to see anything. When I got home, Fong pretended to be cold, went straight into the office, flying out with a busy look. Every time he was born, he pretended to work. There were times when I couldn't believe that this pitiful and talented person was the hunter who had once made me swoon. But thinking about his snake scales, his tail as big as a tree trunk, and his sharp fangs, all my tender feelings disappeared. After that, for a whole week, every night after work, I diligently studied the habits of snakes. The TV was showing a romantic movie, and Fong suddenly appeared behind me. Seeing that I was not paying attention, he came over and sat down on the sofa next to me. I had just finished reading a short folk tale, quietly moving my butt away from him. He was wearing a simple t-shirt, suddenly pulling my hand to place on his abs. Feeling hot, I quickly withdrew my hand. He said, I posted a story saying I wanted to lie on my abs and study first at night to cool down. I frowned. It was because I lost a bet with my colleague 3 days ago and was forced to post random things. I don't have a master's degree, so why would I need to cool down? Greatness must be learned or forever. He pursed his lips, his eyes cold. I understood that she did not want to lie on my abs. He turned to the air, serious. There was no man. I immediately lay down. Study, I study right away. After so many years, I only remember the sentence mechanical materialism, also known as metaphysical materialism. I thought for a while metaphysics, if you don't study you will be expelled. Fong didn't bother to pay attention to what I was doing. He played with my hands, sometimes comparing the size of his hands, sometimes comparing his arms to mine. Back and forth, his 2 hands formed a V shape, and he started to lean towards my face. I immediately got chills, because the story I just read was about a man-eating snake. Before eating, it would measure the size of its prey to see if there was a button to choose from. Baby, you're so soft. He held my hand and gently bit it. I jumped. Are you hungry? He paused. Hungry too, but not that hungry. I'll go cook you noodles. I'm a terrible cook. All I know is boiling noodles. Anyway, it's not me who's eating. If I don't feed him today, I won't bring him any more bowls. A bowl of beef noodles. He ate deliciously, looking up as he ate. Baby hasn't cooked for him for a long time. Then eat a lot. I brought out the 4th bowl. He was a little hesitant. He couldn't eat anymore. His stomach hurt. Are you sure you're full? Okay, you go to bed first. He raised his eyebrows, put his hand on his stomach and rubbed it. I was about to leave, but then I didn't. Let me rub it for you. I rubbed his belly in circles. Fong let out a soft moan, his face red. I didn't pay attention. I just imagined a giant black snake swallowing me and keeping me in its stomach for half a year. The scene has no walls. Cannot accept the change. He is much taller than me. I sit in his shadow covering my whole body. When he bit my arm lightly, I felt cold all over. I tried to get his sanity back. Acting, don't get sick, or else go eat more noodles. He was so scared that he immediately sat up straight. The 3rd young master sent me a pack of medicine. He told me not to act rashly, and to wait until he called someone to my house before taking action against Fong Daiyin. This medicine can make him sleep for days. Actually, these past few days I also guessed that I wanted to eradicate Fong Daiyin completely, but I had no intention of doing that. I called him. 3rd young master, I just want to make him stop following me. I don't intend to pester him. He paused for a moment. Okay, I'll listen to you. His face on the screen always made me feel both young and old, hard to describe. He told me to turn the camera to Fong's performance. He was washing dishes in the kitchen, humming to himself. Turn your back on him. I did. I quietly took out a bronze mirror from the other side and pointed it at the screen. There was something on his back. I zoomed in to look. My back felt cold. Behind Fong was a group of ghosts hovering, vague and ghostly. They were all small, with faces unclear, many with broken limbs, so miserable that it was unbearable to look at. He was still humming something softly, while on his back he carried a group of ghosts carrying a pile of ghosts. I calmly said, "This matter is recorded. His crimes are numerous and his crimes are countless. He was not discovered all these years because his disguise was too perfect. Wait for 2 more days, Uncle, gather the troops, together attack him." I looked at his image on the screen, softly said, "Yes. I can't wait until I come safely." On Fong Daiyan's birthday he was very strange. I don't know if it was because of the amulet my father sent me. I wore it around my neck for 3 days, and Fong Daiyan started to become unusually sad. He seemed unaware that he had taken on animal characteristics. As soon as I left his sight, he would immediately follow. "Where are you going?" I replied, "Going to get fresh food to cook his birthday meal." He nodded slowly. I ducked past the flower bed and went around to the back door. But he spotted me and came straight for me, and I turned back. Running around, not good. As soon as I entered the door, he couldn't hold it anymore and pushed me to the floor. His fangs were bigger than normal, digging into my cheek veins, causing a sharp pain. A moment later, he suddenly fainted on top of me, continue sleeping. I pulled him onto the sofa. When he woke up, he had no memory of what had just happened. He reached out and hugged me, placing me on his lap. Fong Dayin rubbed his face against me. Where was your birthday? Because he was so close, he could smell the wound on my neck that was still not dry. His eyes became dreamy. His mouth opened again. He didn't seem to know what he was doing. I picked up the glass of wine on the table. Drink some, the gift will be here soon. He happily accepted. Drinking and causing trouble was a must on every birthday. This year was different. I had put Su Jing'en's medicine in the wine. Just 1/10 of the dose, enough to sleep for a few hours. The system said my existence hinders the development of feelings between the male and female leads. Can send me to another world for a while, then come back later. I couldn't think of a way to deal with it, so I had to compromise and go downstairs for now. Fong Dayin tilted his head back and finished his glass of wine, then picked it up and put it on my shoulder, sighing continuously. I asked, what's wrong? Suddenly, his shoulder felt lighter. Fong Dayin sat up straight. The corners of his lips curved up. Shouldn't you be the one asking what's wrong? Honey, I feel a little strange. The medicine is taking effect. But unlike what I said, it's not a sedative, it's a drug that makes him lose control. There was no space at all. The fangs bit again. This time the pain was so bad that I steeled myself. Fong acted. He completely lost control of himself. I called his name to no avail. The phone vibrated on the sofa. I reached out to grab it, but was knocked away by Fong Dayin. The trident-shaped lamp above also shook violently because of his instability. Looking up from that angle, Fong Dayin had lost his mind, pressing me down, taking over bit by bit. He had returned to his animal instincts. In his eyes, I was no longer a human but a prey. Just like what that woman said, suck the cheek first and then swallow. In my dizziness, I seemed to remember why I was so afraid of snakes. I was afraid of Fong himself. In the beginning, I was in his hands. He was still biting my neck. My body was full of wounds. It hurt to the bone. At that time, I also called him like now. Let me go. Then my soul left my body and died. This time, I still couldn't push him away. Acting. I tried to awaken his reason. But he didn't react, just greedily rubbed his face against my neck. I lost all my strength. I could only wait for death. Suddenly there was a loud knocking outside the door. Chidu, this voice so familiar, it's me. Hearing the sound from outside, Fong seemed to wake up a bit. He looked at me deeply, then suddenly picked me up, barefooted, and walked into the basement. There was a secret room down there that he built just for me. He said it was for when he wasn't home. If a bad guy broke in, I could hide. He locked me in that room. In a panic, I swung my hand and pushed his upper body, accidentally hitting a cold, soft spot. When he put me on the bed, the button of my shirt was unbuttoned, exposing my chest. A large patch of snake scales was clearly visible before my eyes. He looked panicked and immediately turned away. I didn't know why, but suddenly I felt an uncontrollable feeling of nausea. Fong Dayin regained his composure and coldly snorted. Hate me that much? He leaned down and bit my shoulder hard, as if he was taking revenge. You already knew I wasn't human, right? I weakly nodded. Immediately after that, I felt nauseous again. He suddenly laughed, then pressed a button on the remote control. Red lights immediately lit up around him, and an alarm sounded. What is this? If you want me to do it that badly, then let's do it together. This room can protect people, but it can also kill people. An hour later, he pointed to the silver-colored metal box mounted on the wall. The bomb will explode. We will meet again in hell. I tried to grab his shirt, but he avoided me. Fong, I am pregnant. He just looked at me coldly, then retreated outside, breaking the lock. The heavy door closed. I only had time to see his lonely back. There was absolutely no phone signal inside. I walked around the room, checking everywhere. The place was almost completely sealed. The door was specially made and extremely heavy. Worst of all, as soon as he went out, the metal box on the wall started to come back up. I really didn't expect him to be so ruthless. This time I really wanted to die. I don't know how much time passed, but I heard the ground shaking slightly. There must have been a big explosion, and the aftershocks reached here. After a while, Changhua groped his way to the basement. Tachidu. I pressed against the door and shouted, I'm in here. Where's the lock? Kwa, you go quickly. Fong Dian has broken the lock. There's a bomb in here. A bomb? Her voice was shaking. There was a loud knocking on the door. Trin was desperately banging on the door. I asked, where's Fong Dian? He ran away. When I blew up your backyard, he had just finished chatting with Titinan and the others, looked into the fire and disappeared. Oh my god, you have no idea how scary his tail is. It's 2 stories high. Just one twist and more than a dozen people were thrown straight into the fire. I burst out laughing. You're exaggerating. She calmed down and asked, how much longer? I'll go call someone. 5 minutes. I imagined Trin Kwa holding his head and screaming like a whole wheat bread without sugar. Oh my god, I don't know how to open a lock or defuse a bomb. I reassured her. Fong works so ruthlessly that even if you call an expert, you won't be able to open it. You should run away quickly. She burst into tears outside. I said, my cats, dogs, parrots, and other animals need your care. I also leave the volunteer work I do to you. Besides, humans are just the primitive form of demons. I'm just on the countdown to becoming a demon. I still have to congratulate myself on entering the realm. I'm going to stop you. 3 minutes left. She cried until she almost fainted. I couldn't bear to leave her. I screamed too. We'll see each other in the underworld anyway. Don't waste your tears. I have nothing left. Remember to earn a lot of money and burn it for me. Otherwise, we will have to sleep on the street down there. She was crying and sniffling. That's right, you left in a hurry and didn't bring anything. Let me stay here and prepare. The old tree withered and kissed the starry house. The dried vine fell, the fake tree fell. The crows in the afternoon chirped. It describes a desolate scene, fresh in the autumn afternoon, expressing the loneliness and sadness of the lyrical character. She said, male model, come to my house. Thanks, you are my best friend. Just 2 more minutes. She turned around and ran away, screaming as she ran. Tachidu, even if you become a ghost, don't forget me. When she left, I felt my heart sink. How hateful Fong Dian. I used to love him so much, but he was so cruel. Just by holding me down just now, the pain was less. The beeping of the countdown clock made my heart feel like it was being cut into pieces. I fell in love, no wonder. After all, if the system hadn't appeared, if I hadn't met Fong Dian, I probably would have married a bald, half-paralyzed and ulcerated uncle. So even though I suspected I was being set up, at least the performance was really beautiful and powerful, worthy of sacrificing my life for. Beep beep beep. The pain I imagined did not happen. Click, the door opened. A rose popped out. Inside the silver box was an English song he had recorded himself. I walked closer suspiciously. There were more roses inside. The handwriting on the card was Fong's. The first sentence, how could I let you make it up? Second, don't worry, if you and your parents don't love each other, you won't have a child. After a while it will go away on its own. No wonder pregnancy is always on and off. Maybe it's because my mood has been so erratic lately. Sorry baby, I'm so selfish. I know you hate snakes, but I didn't want you to leave, so I hid it from you. Xiaoyu, from now on I won't bother you anymore. I really hate this kind of nonsense. After growing up, my parents went to see a psychologist and said the 2 words love you, which almost gave me goosebumps from head to toe. I don't like to say I love you, but acting teaches me how to express love. I search inside. There was also a priceless angel heart necklace in the box. There were also 2 large boxes with letters written on the outside. Addressed to me, Tri Vu. I conveniently opened a letter titled 200th birthday to see who he was planning to celebrate his birthday with. The opening was already a fatal blow. Xiaodu, I'm sorry, you're already 200 years old and still haven't mastered it. I really regret it. On the first day we fell in love, I secretly linked our fates. I don't know how long you can live. If you find immortality boring, then just go have fun like you said. Honestly, I'm so sad. Just like when I lay next to you every night watching you scroll through beautiful photos. But you said life is short, why don't you go out and date a few more guys, so I had to let you go. Actually, it's not a little sad, it's super sad. Remember, they're just the hotel and I'm your home. I lost because you hate snakes and I am a snake. I was born a snake, I'm sorry. The person you like I will always follow forever. You are such a dark-hearted, jealous and crazy person. A few tears have dried on the paper. But I am stupid enough to hurt you. I only wish for your happiness and I dare not complain anymore. Afraid that you will see me as pitiful. Idiot, it's not your fault, why take responsibility? Many years ago I was the one who raised Fong to be an actor. You are a snake and I'm afraid of snakes, I didn't intend to save you. I am a stream, are you blind? You tricked me and I was just a stupid 10-year-old kid at that time. My father sold me to bandits for a few bushels of rice. I escaped into the mountains and found a snake that I was about to kill. It said it was a lineage, I believed it, devotedly raised it to adulthood. We were both so gentle that it was foolish. He was a Lin Xe. One time while going down the mountain to find food, I was moved and asked him to save my 7-year-old brother. My brother was covered in sores and had contracted a disease called leprosy. Fong Dian bit him and the next day he was able to walk again. My family started to pay attention to us. At that time I planned to do wood carving, but only had a curved knife and lacked a more sophisticated set of knives. Fong transformed into a human and wrote very beautifully, but only had a brush pen and lacked a set of 4 treasures of the office. We didn't have enough money. At that time my father said, Xiaodu, I was wrong back then, our family was poor so we had to sell you, can you come home now? I said no. He changed his words again, you and Xiao Lanjun staying in the mountains all day is not good. You guys are doing fine. He changed his mind, life was poor, father did not force, how about this? Father gave money as compensation, just wanted to invite you to a meal. I agreed, but the money he gave was not enough. I sold the curved knife, combined with the money father gave, bought Fong Dian a first-class set of 4 treasures. When I got home I fell ill. Fong Dian said, Xiaodu, wake up and look. I sold the pig hair and bought you a new knife. I couldn't breathe. He gave me medicine. Xiaodu, you will be fine, take the medicine and you will be fine. Then I started to have sores all over my body, wounds all over my body. He panicked, bit me repeatedly, and injected his cheek into me, trying to save me like he had saved my brother. But the medicine was specially made by my father through a Taoist priest, and there was no antidote. As he was dying I saw Fong Dian exhausted, revealing his true form and sucking my cheek. At the moment of death, opening my eyes to see a giant black python biting and tearing me apart, who wouldn't die of fear? Because of that fear, resentment welled up, so when I reincarnated, I was extremely afraid of snakes. But that wasn't your fault. The antidote was something he begged my father for. He didn't understand human emotions, the malice hidden behind a gentle smile. He still brought the medicine back, but he didn't expect it to be the thing that would hasten my death. Fong acted like a child who made a mistake sitting next to me. He thought it was his fault. Then the men from my family led the Taoist priest to come, didn't blame him, and took my body. They couldn't beat you, couldn't eat your flesh, but they wanted to be like my younger brother, immune to all poisons, even immortal. So they came up with this scheme to deceive a pure being like you. After cutting my body apart, they all ran away in silence, afraid of your revenge. The paintings that Su Jing'an gave me were drawn by him. They depicted scenes of people cutting off parts of an immortal body. And I was the character in the painting, the fish lying on the altar, letting people cut up my flesh. They didn't know that Fong was a snake, his cheeks had a soul and were also poisonous. Otherwise, why would he wait until the last minute to use that method? He could save someone from death by a hair's breadth, but after that, that person would lose all their 5 elements like a soulless corpse. The immortality he gave also had its limits. Su Jing'an was nearing the end of his life, so when he saw me reincarnated, he had actually been secretly following me for a long time. Before Feng Yan's birthday, I already knew that Su Jing'an was not trustworthy. Fortunately, Feng Yan had set up a department that specialized in developing safety products for women. I received a new package from Su Jing'an. Inside was a small incense burner as a gift. He said it had been consecrated, it would help me relax. The car's monitoring system reminded me, Miss, I found a tiny camera within 1 meter of you. I searched the incense burner and found a tiny camera hidden inside. The security system on my phone also alerted me. Cian, please be careful. Your phone is being monitored by a strange device. I followed the anti-surveillance location and found Su Jing'an hiding in a pork stall in the market. Every time I called him to deal with him, he said he was on the way. I put on my mask, stood in front of the pork counter, and watched him text me while hiding. Xiaodu, I'm also worried about you. But that evil man is too dangerous. I'm trying to find a way to deal with him. Remember, if he loses control, don't run away, or you'll anger him. The consequences will be unpredictable. No wonder they gave me sachets, amulets, incense burners, and powdered medicine. It turns out they wanted to repeat what happened last time, making Fong lose control of my paper, then wake up to save me, then steal my body. How perverted. At that time, I only knew that Su Jing'an was not trustworthy, but I didn't remember clearly what happened between me and Feng Yan. After all, Su Jing'an was not a good person, and Feng Yan would kill them all when he lost control. I told Changgua to hire someone to create an explosion in my backyard. Perfect fire. Feng Dian really likes to use fire to destroy evidence. In the past, he secretly burned all the love letters that others wrote to me. He will definitely throw the body into the fire this time too. After that, I just need to remember my family to report the media control results and it will be done. I came out of the basement and saw that Changgua and the white snake were both there. Changgua almost suffocated me by hugging me. Bai walked over, his long hair wavy, his lips red, his figure alluring. Don't tell me I've just been touched and I'm already meeting my love rival. She smiled lightly and walked closer. Oh, my sister-in-law is here. Where's the little actress? I said, oh no. She ran her soft hand over my chest. I remembered that night, the movements she made to Feng Dian. Trin Kwa stood beside me and whispered to me. She had also touched my chest there and squeezed it. The girl smiled awkwardly. Sorry, when I transformed I learned it from watching TV. All the snake demons in movies are like that. Oh, I just wanted to ask, where is my son? I was confused, your son. It's that stupid green snake. It kept asking to come to your house to play. So I sent it over by express transfer. It's the cat-eating bitch. She squeezed my chest again. My son probably isn't going far, he's just not listening. Seeing that your family has been jealous lately, I'm going to work first. She turned around and dropped a photo from her briefcase. I bent down to pick it up, my teeth chattering. She remembers you. She must know him. A notorious labor criminal in the demon world. A notorious old pervert. She took back the photo. I'm in charge of capturing him. This time, he used incense to charm several human girls and took them back to his cave to be his wife. Last time, Feng Dian even helped me teach him a lesson. She was about to leave. I called back, do you know where Feng Dian could have gone? She revealed a look of curiosity. I knew you two had a problem. Go up to Kwang Mountain to check, he has a hut there. Thanks. Trin Kwa climbed the mountain with me for half a day, cursing Feng Dian all the way. Crazy running so far, thinking everyone is an 8-meter python. Aren't you afraid of snakes anymore? I replied, slowly overcoming it. Feng Dian lived alone for a long time, then learned how to make a contract from the demon world, tying his fate to me. If I die, you can't live either. You think that's good. When I died, you also sought death, saying the mountain was not high enough and the sea was not deep enough. After the contract was made, the entire snake seemed to glow. Because you needed to suck my blood to maintain your human form, otherwise you would gradually fade away. This guy's thinking is if I love him, I won't let him die, and evil will agree to let him suck my blood. If I don't love him, then let me die. I don't think this is letting go, but rather letting go too far, a perverse thought that can't be learned. When Changgua and I entered the thatched hut, we were not mentally prepared. Feng Yan was covered in blood, holding a bunch of colorful feathers in his hand, and a chicken by its tail. As soon as I stepped forward, the chicken screamed loudly. Miss Tu, help me. The voice sounds so familiar. Zhangthip Bak. It nodded like pounding garlic. I looked at Feng Dian. He was quickly pulling some bamboo grass from his lower body, his face full of sadness. Don't look, he turned his face away. On the ground were patches of black scales that had been torn off. I looked at the chicken with feathers, then at Feng Dian who was covered in injuries. My anger rose to my brain. I grabbed Zhang Thiet Bok and punched him mercilessly. You dare to pull out my husband's scales, I will beat you to death. You dare to touch my person. No one gave him a chance to explain. Only after fighting until tired did he rest. The cry of the white flesh monster echoed throughout the mountain. Oh my God, he pulled out his own scales. She said she was afraid of snakes and liked birds, so she wanted to transform herself. He even stripped off all my feathers. Let me see if it resembles anything. Is it reasonable for a snake to use phoenix feathers? He cried pitifully. He said we were not compatible and immediately hit me. I told him he was a lovesick fool. I was so humiliated that I couldn't live anymore. He was about to run into the wall. No one stopped him. Zhang's face darkened and he hid in the corner. Feng Dian also slipped inside. I followed him, calling him, "Come here." He obediently crawled over, covering my eyes with his hand. "Don't look, it's ugly." I put my wrist to your mouth, "Drink it or you won't be able to go home." I blame him. "Feng Dian, can't you be a little stronger? Just wait to die. You've lived for so many years without knowing how to cherish yourself." He was upset. I saw many handkerchiefs on the door, so I took one to wipe the blood off his body. Why was the handkerchief wet? Feng Dian was confused. Zhang Thitbok poked his head in to tease him. He was crying. He cried until dozens of towels were wet. He hung them up to dry after crying. Feng Dian's expression gradually became angry. I grabbed his head, forcing him to look straight at me. "Can we go home? I don't hate you, a person who is afraid of snakes. Moreover, you didn't say anything. I thought you were going to eat me. I never meant to hurt you. You taught me so many things. I can't bear to." He said yes. I stood on tiptoe and kissed him. Before my eyes was a green persimmon that suddenly ripened. The system appeared, carrying a backpack and bidding me farewell. "Are you not protecting the love between the male and female leads anymore?" Said Feng Dian paid me too much money. "I am a system that knows the times. I will go activate 8 other male model systems. Goodbye." Goodbye. We took the chicken down the mountain. There was a pregnant woman and her husband on the top of the mountain praying for blessings. Feng Dian shook his head and looked for a long time. I asked, "What's wrong with you?" He replied, "That family will be very happy. Thuan Hai you go." I seemed to see a spirit behind him. The man named Thuan Hai was wearing a red army uniform, took off his cap, looked solemn, and walked towards the pregnant woman. Luckily, we were at the back of the mountain, so we quickly helped take the pregnant woman to the hospital. I breathed a sigh of relief. "I thought you had killed those souls." You smiled. "I learned from you. When I went to the autopsy, I found that I could see them. I, like you, wish they could return to peace and feel the country they shed blood to build. Do I was raised by you, I am your copy. There are many things you don't remember, but I do. I am a monster, but I understand love more than many humans. You loved me with all your heart, taught me, so now I return it. Love is a circle, never disappearing. Like the Mobius curve, infinite, deep, never ending. We will surely meet again. I will remember the poem you read me. The moon hidden behind the clouds." Feng Dian hugged me madly. "Whatever belongs to you, you will take back."